How's everybody doing today? Glad to have everybody here. It is 8/20/2025. We want to welcome everybody to the Roar Room, ROAR Room.
Thank you.
How was y'all's day today?
It's pretty good. Thank you. How about
Glad,
you?
glad to have y'all here today. As you can see, we're going to continue with the pet ladies, is what we call them, and as a sponsor. And I think we discussed this in the last show, the inaugural show, which was yesterday. But keeping with the every 2 week cycle that we agreed upon, this is the second Wednesday, or
Yes.
right, of the month. So every couple weeks on Wednesday night, we're going to stop for a day and just um, talk about our pets, and not only the dog food, but also maybe even the spiritual side of our pets and the meaning behind that as well. So I'd like to welcome Kim and Dinah to the show tonight. I'll go ahead and let y'all have the floor. I'm going to make sure
Thank you.
everything's good to go.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You want us to get started right on? Go right in for it? Yeah, well, we appreciate this platform. Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite, and we're excited to be here with you. It's a new beginning for the sheepdogs, and I am Kim, and I will like to introduce Diana in just a minute. First, I want to express prayers and concerns for Mike's family. I hope that they are doing okay and remembering to breathe and get through this. It's just a terrible situation for them, I know, but they had time to be with him before he left, and I'm sure that they're happy that he is where he is. Anyway, so, and I'd been a member of that community for many years, even before the pet ladies came on. And on that, on the War Room, I am Nature Girl. So if you have any questions, you can reach out. And this is Diana, one of the mushroom ladies. She is certified in holistic pet care and pet and human CBD, and she is also certified in pet nutrition. Before I turn it over to you, I have a few questions. Diana, how did the mushroom therapy company get started?
Well, that's a really great question. But first, I just so applaud Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog for taking on this huge project, continuing the legacy, sacrificing of yourselves, Bird Love and your husband and everybody who has been here to help you guys make this transition. We appreciate you and your steadfast loyalty to this community. It's really incredible and it's heartwarming. And I'm sure Mike would be very proud. And I wish Amanda and the children all, peace that they can have in their hearts right now and good memories. So how did this company get started? Wow, that's a really loaded question. It's kind of a fun question with a lot of good to it. Back in the 80s, there was a wonderful woman named Mrs. Lou, and she had a very serious cancer. She was going to Sloan Kettering, and they basically had said, there's nothing else we can do. You need to go home and get your affairs in order. I don't know why those words are so prevalent in hospitals these days, but they are. And her son Simon, contacted the family all around the world and let them know that, mom was not doing well. And if anybody wanted to, reach out to her, they probably should. And a nephew in Japan said, we have this mushroom. It's called the Coriellus versicolor. There are 200 strains of this mushroom. But if you get the right strain, it has been studied by many, many institutes and literally sent the mushroom to Simon. And Simon started giving it to his mother. About 4 to 6 weeks later, when they went back to Sloan Kettering, or it was MD Anderson, I can't remember which one, they were shocked that she was still with them, but also started to see improvement. About 8 weeks later, they saw so much improvement that they basically said she was clear of the big C. And that started the journey. At the same time, another man whose sister Christina had a very rare form of cancer, same type of thing, not good prognosis. He was good friends with Simon, and he said, hey, do you think you could share what you gave your mother with my sister? And they did. And she's still with us today. Mrs. Liu lived until she was in her late 80s. And Christina's still with us today. Remind you, this was like back in the 80s. So they started researching and learning more and offering it as some type of a supplement. But, with supplements, you can't say anything. Here's a supplement, try it. You can't say what it's good for. The FDA and everybody just really squelches what you can and can't say. And I do hope that changes someday. So they dabbled with this as a company and a product for a while. But it wasn't until the around 2010, 2014 or so that they were all sitting around, Simon and his friend Gino and their other friend Steve, and they were talking about their animals. And someone said, yeah, my sister's dog just died of cancer. And someone else said, yeah, my neighbor's dog just died of cancer. And someone else said, I had a dog that died of cancer. And they all started going, wait, what? And so they started researching and Googling and finding out that, oh my gosh, so many dogs are dying from cancer. And then it hit them. I wonder if this mushroom would help. So they started researching and ended up finding a study from Penn State University Veterinarian School that, quote, says if your dog has cancer and takes the Coriellus versicolor mushroom, it will live longer and healthier. I mean, that is the quote. And that's a bold statement for a university to say anything like that. That they got a lot of pushback and they better have had their I's dotted and their T's crossed. So these three gentlemen looked at each other and they said, we're all animal lovers. What if we bake this into a biscuit and we start offering it to animals? And there goes the beginning of Pet Club 24/7. That was about 2015, 14. They launched the company in late 2016. And the idea was to find 1 million voices to help animals and stop this horrible thing that's been happening with our animals dying of cancer. They also started finding out so much more about how this was helping so many more things like allergies and diabetes and all of these things that our animals were suffering from. And the best thing that happened was that people started using it. People started to see results. And then they started calling the company and saying, hey, can we take these? And the company was like, well, we already have them for humans. We just weren't offering them. And so they brought back the human supplement. So it was kind of because of the animals that they brought back the human line. And, so the company has been on a mission. We're a small company. We're based out of Simi Valley, California. We're a faith-based, patriotic, USA company that is all about what can we do to help our animals live healthier and better, as well as, if our animals are being taken care of by us, then we better make sure that we're in good shape so that we can take care of our animals. And so that's how this whole company got started, Kim.
Wow. So how does that benefit the community and Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog?
Well, that's awesome. And I'll answer this question. I buy the Corrales for Secola, but don't know how to use the codes. I don't know what that means, Jan. Jan, you can email me at sheepdogpets@gmail.com and I will answer that because I'm not sure what the question is. Well, so we've collaborated as we had collaborated with Mike, and we are collaborating now with the sheepdogs too, to help this community in a lot of different ways. You know, when the people like Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog go out there and put themselves out on the line to run a platform like this, it is not inexpensive. It takes a lot of their time. It keeps them from doing other things that they could be doing to earn income. And so what happens is that anytime anybody goes to the website sheepdogs, plural, pets.com, and purchases any of the products that they probably are going to use anyway, the sheepdog community will benefit from that financially. And it is important for us because, you know, we can give our money to the big box stores, but you know where that's going. It's going to fund things that maybe you don't agree with. It's going to fund things that sometimes are international. Why not keep the money in the community? Why not keep the money in a place that does good things for the community? And that's what it's really all about for us. You know, we really want to make sure that we support this community. We're going to be running a lot of contests and a lot of free giveaways and doing everything we can. But more importantly, we just want to help. We want to help, and we want to do it affordable. Most of our products are under $20 a month for a product that will help your animal. And we try so hard to keep everything at a price point that people can afford and not feel like they're, you know, getting ripped off. The discount for the community is already on the website. If you go to the website and you open up the website, you'll see that there is an online price. That's about 15% less than the offline price. So the price that you see is a discounted price. And, you know, again, we're here to educate. We're here to teach. We want our fur babies and their parents to live longer and healthier. And that's what we're all about.
So what is mushroom therapy and how can it help animals and people?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was the one that coined mushroom therapy as a term a while back because I saw the benefits of these mushrooms helping all these animals, and it was crazy. And I just thought, it's mushroom therapy. It's what it is. Because people would say, what is this? What is it exactly? It's mushroom therapy. So we have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials of animals that they were on maybe their supposed last days, animals that have perked up, lived 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more years, and not just lived, but lived well and a high quality of life just because their body got support and the immune system got support. I mean, this is not brain surgery. It's just so simple. God created our bodies perfectly, created an immune system that works perfectly, that can take care of everything that's in the body for humans and for animals. But it's been compromised. We all know things like the water, the food that we eat, the medications that we're taking, the vaccinations for our animals and people, the environment, the Roundup in the ground, the pesticides. These things have all compromised the immune system. And so what we do is we use the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and it is such an amazing mushroom. And we'll have another story where we're going to go into some deep dives on mushrooms and how incredible they are in general. But today, we're pretty much talking mostly about the Coriolis versicolor. Coriolis versicolor mushroom is a mushroom that is commonly called turkey tail. That's the generic name, the most common name. And it looks just like a big turkey tail when it's in full bloom. A lot of companies are jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, we've been doing this since 2016. Well, actually before that too, with the human end. But a lot of people will actually harvest this when it's the easiest to harvest. That means it's fully fruited and it's more plentiful and easier and less expensive to harvest. However, there are 200 strains of this mushroom. And the mushroom that has the 400 medical studies and the mushroom strain that was studied by Penn State veterinarian is the strain that we have. It is proprietary. It is harvested down in the mycelium state, which is kind of like the umbilical cord state down in the baby state. It's harder to get, costs more to get, and you get less of it. That's why the pricing is a little different than if you had, run into like a box store and just get, the generic turkey tail. We are so excited about how it works. It's so simple. It just goes into the body's immune system, wakes it up, slaps it into submission, and helps it to work properly. I love everything about what this mushroom does for people, for animals, even for someone like me who has suffered with the big C. So that's where we're at.
Well, the Coriolis versicolor mushrooms has so many benefits, right? Let's tell me a story. Well, let me first tell you a story of my story. I'll get it out in a minute. I have a tumor. I don't like saying that, but there's a tumor in here. And it has not grown since I've been on the mushroom, which was January of 24. And 2.5 months later, I had my first MRI, and it did not grow. Prior to that, I had 3 MRIs, and each one of it had shown some growth. So once this happened, I was just thrilled. So I've continued to take it. I'm taking a high dose of it, 8 a day. And I think I'm due for another one in October or November. So we'll see how that's going. But we have added 2 new kid-approved products recently, and it's the chocolate chips and the gummies. The cookies are great. And if you can imagine, doing your mushroom therapy with cookies, the little kids love that, and so do I. The big kids do. And we're the first company that does not have any corn syrup or artificial flavoring. We use the raspberry puree. The cookies are just completely natural and don't have any preservatives and all that yucky stuff in there either. Each gummy and cookie can provide the immune support for the little ones that are heading back to school. We have countless testimonies on the cookies and the gummies with the little kids that are not getting the back to school snots, and they're doing really well, and because they've been on the mushroom therapy. And the coffee is really good. It doesn't have that nasty bitter taste that I just, I don't like that. And here are some statistics. There we are. The coffee, most coffees have chemicals and they're dirt and sticks and pesticides and all of that nasty stuff. And most coffee is about 3 months old to 2 years old that is in the stores. And the United States is the only country that accepts rejected coffee beans from other countries. Our Coriolis versicolor coffee has immune support of the Coriolis versicolor in it, and it's 100% vegan, 100% natural, fair trade coffee, OCIA certified, OK organic, and kosher certified, SQF level 2 certified, which is a global certification. It's non-GMO, and did I mention it's so good? Yes, and we have a few blends and a decaf, and try it. You'll be hooked too.
That's really funny because I can't tell you how many people that I have gifted a bag to, and then they call me and they go, "Oh my gosh, I thought I knew what good coffee was. I didn't realize how good, but it also has the Coriolis versicolor mushroom in it." And that's what makes it so great. And so, I'm going to go over our product line briefly and talk a little bit about products. I'm watching some of these things in chat, and I'm looking at Patricia, and she said, "I just received my scan results from my body, and I'm kicking the big C's butt. And the doctor is taking interest in my protocol. And yes, the mushrooms are on it." Okay.
Yay!
When we have irrefutable facts, when we have numbers, this is when I jump up and down, because this is huge. We have a dog that had 800 liver enzymes, and we put this little baby on our special sauce, and within 2 weeks, the numbers went down to 300. And then within 2 more weeks, it went down to 180. So what I love is when we have these irrefutable numbers. And yes, Janet, the coffee, oh, so good. My favorite is the Christmas blend, the Snowy River, the blueberry cinnamon crumble. Oh my gosh, it's like heaven in a bag, and it smells so good. I could just walk around smelling it all day. But what I want to share is my story. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I tell the story over and over again, but every time I tell this story, I get an email or a text message, or somebody who calls somebody who tells somebody to reach out to me, and my heart just breaks and soars because we're able to help. The last time I shared this story, I got a text message from a woman named Debbie, and she was checking herself into hospice that day, and she said, "Do you think there's hope? Do you think that maybe this can help me?" And I literally was bawling, and we got on the phone and we talked, and we had such a great conversation. And bless her heart, she's scared. She doesn't want to move on to her next part of her journey. She wants to stay. And she said, "Do you think there's hope?" And I'm like, "Of course, there's always hope." So she has started on mushroom therapy. It's been 2 weeks and 4 days. I've talked to her a couple times. She's feeling good. She had to kind of sneak in the mushroom therapy to hospice. Her family has been bringing her a smoothie every day, and she's been opening the capsules of the Coriolis versicolor and putting them in there. But so my story, I think, impacts some people. So I am going to tell it again, and I'm sorry if some of you have heard it before. But just like Kim's tumor, when you have irrefutable numbers, these are important things to share. February of 2020, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. I was told that because of pandemic, because everything was shut down, a board would have to decide whether or not I could be operated on. I had a tumor in my colon. It could explode and it could kill me. So they sent me home. And I had been working with this company and specializing in the animal end of it for about maybe a year and a half. And so I had seen a lot of great results. But here I was now going, okay, I don't have anything in my toolbox. I'm going to start taking these. I consulted with our technical department, and they said, Diana, normally we recommend and we suggest 1 capsule per 50 pounds. But because of your situation, if you can afford to triple up, triple up. Okay, I took 10 a day, 5 in the morning, 5 at night. I opened them, I put them in coffee. I think I invented mushroom coffee, honestly. This was 2010. 30 days went by. I got a call. "You've been approved for surgery. Go in for pre-op blood work." I went into the hospital, and that's a whole nother story. It was during lockdown. It was during pandemic. I felt like I was going into that scene from Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo. That's how the hospital looked. There were people in white hazmat suits everywhere. I had my blood work. I went home, and then I got a call that the oncology department wanted to do an emergency video conference with me right away. that was really scary because I thought, oh, are they canceling my surgery? Has it grown so much that it's too far gone? I mean, I was scared. And there was my doctor, who's quite handsome with a big smile on his face. And he said, Diana, what are you doing? And I said, I'm packing a suitcase to go to the hospital. I mean, I don't quite understand the question. And he goes, you're in remission. And he was smiling from ear to ear. What are you doing? And I said, Doc, I'm taking the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. That's all I'm doing. And he said, I don't know anything about it. Send me everything you have. We still need to get this tumor out of you, but you are in remission. And I said, okay, I know those words are good, but I didn't really know. What is remission? What does that mean? And he said that every cancer has a marker. And this is important. If you're dealing with anyone that you know that's going through cancer, every cancer has a marker. And that's what the doctors use to measure like how you're doing. And in my case, it was a CEA number. 2.5 was healthy. I had been off the charts before. And now, as of that day, I was 0.05. And again, he said, I send me everything you have on this mushroom. You need to get this tumor out of you. And we're probably going to continue to recommend chemotherapy because it's a very aggressive cancer. You have a 40% chance of reoccurrence without chemotherapy. You have a 10% chance of reoccurrence with chemotherapy. So I live outside of Vegas. You know, we gamble, but I didn't like those odds. And even though my husband and I had said all the way up to that point, I'm not going to do chemotherapy. We had said that. We had agreed on that. They started doing some research. And what they had told me was correct. The type of cancer, the stage, everything that was going on with me, I got a little scared. But then I stumbled on some articles from Sloan Kettering about how the Coriolis versicolor mushroom could complement chemotherapy. And I went, whoa, wait, okay, this is good. So I agreed to do chemotherapy. I still continue to take 10 a day. 6 months of chemotherapy. I never threw up once. I did not lose my hair. In all fairness, the drug that I took only had a 50% chance of hair loss, but a 100% chance of hair thinning. That didn't happen. I didn't look like a cancer patient. I didn't feel like a cancer patient. People would come up to me and say, you have color in your face. And most people that we know that are on chemo are all pasty and depleted. And I realized as my body was being ravaged by chemotherapy, as every healthy living cell was being destroyed, my immune system, because of the Coriolis versicolor, was given the support to repair, replenish, rebuild, rejuvenate. And so literally it was staying ahead of the carnage that was happening. I had some bad days. I'm not going to say they were all good. There were a few days my husband had to carry me to bed. There were a few days I didn't know my ABCs. But overall, I looked pretty darn good through the whole journey. At the end of the journey, when they did all of my test results, they came back and said, wow, you everything's amazing. Your numbers are amazing. Normally, this is when we go into the, okay, now let's help you rebuild mode. I didn't have to rebuild. There was one tiny concern, and that was that I had a small spot on my liver. But they said, look, we're going to just hold off on that. We're going to wait 3 months, and we're going to revisit that. You've been through so much in the last year. My bone density improved during chemotherapy. And if you look up chemotherapy, it wreaks havoc on your bone density. I was osteoporosis before I started this journey. I came out of it non-osteoporosis, not even osteopenia, which is unheard of. And my oncologist took notice. He and I have had a great 5-year, 5-month relationship because he has been very supportive of what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. I've stayed on 3 a day for 5 years and 5 months. So I tell that story because I think it's important to understand that there are things that we can do that are holistic and natural and from the earth, that can help us with things that are going on in our body. I'm going to share just a couple quick testimonials, and then we're going to talk about a few other things. We have a old dog, and he's a shepherd. We got a call. Actually, I saw a post on social media where a woman said her dog was slowing down, and she just felt like, when is time? When do I make the decision to maybe put him down? She just didn't know. And I contacted her and said, look, let's get this pup on mush ponies. Now, why did I say mush ponies? It's 150 pounds. So it's a big dog. And this is more affordable. A half a biscuit a day. About a week later, she contacted me and said, you're not going to believe this. My dog is outside playing. She hasn't been outside and play. It's a he. He hasn't been outside playing for, I can't even remember. She said, I didn't even know where his toys were because it's been so long since he's played with a toy. I'm going to go have to buy him toys. We're now another week down the road, and I'm still getting the same reports. So our biscuits in the form of either Mush Puppies Plus, or mush ponies all have naturally sourced glucosamine, chondroitin, keratin, which are going to help our animals move better. It's no different than us. I'm 67 years old. There are some days where I will get up to go walk and I have to stop for a minute and kind of gather myself because I'm getting older. The same thing happens with our animals. The problem is they don't understand why. And so that also starts to affect them mentally. They get up and they're not moving as well, and they start to go, and you can tell that they're struggling. The glucosamine, chondroitin, keratin is going to help that. We also had a dog who was having all kinds of problems going up and down the spiral staircase at their house. So much so that he was sleeping down in the living room and no longer up in the bedroom with the family. They started the pup on the mush puppies, and within a couple weeks, the dog was going up and down the spiral staircase and now running up and down the spiral staircase. So I love those stories. Cats, oh my gosh. We have seen so many great stories with our special sauce with cats. We also have a special sauce for dogs, mostly for the smaller dogs or the really critically ill dogs. But with the cats, if you've got a cat that's experiencing problems, this is such a great product. It has the Coreals versicolor mushroom in it. It also has special skin and coat support. And we are so excited about what we're seeing happening. But I am going to say, if you have a cat, you all know that cats have staff and dogs have masters, and that's for a reason. The cats are going to decide whether they like this, and it's going to take a little bit of time. You can't put something new and unfamiliar out for a cat because a cat is going to walk away from it because they don't trust it. So you have to expose them a couple times. And if you have a really critically ill cat, like one of our podcasters has, he's actually syringe feeding it. And after about 5 days, the cat is now asking for it. So that's pretty exciting. So let's go back to the human end of it. We have a few other mushrooms that we work with. The Coreals versicolor is a capsule. The Enforce in the green bottle, you can open it, put it in coffee, or just take the capsule. But we also have added the reishi mushroom to the Enforce Plus, which is good for heart support, cholesterol support, blood pressure support. A great product if you're on aspirin therapy. You can quit doing that and just do this because the reishi mushroom has a tiny bit of blood thinning capability. I don't recommend or suggest this if you are taking blood thinners. We also have lion's mane. Now, we have lion's mane in the form of human and dog. And lion's mane is really good for us, for cognitive issues, neuropathy, anything that has to do with the brain. 2024, they actually linked the brain to the immune system in the medical world. That was huge. That was huge because that had never been done before. They never thought anything that went on in the brain had to do with the immune system. Well, how silly. I mean, the immune system kind of like controls everything. But what this has done for things like epilepsy, for neurological issues, for Parkinson's, we're starting to see some autism stories that are coming out. And man, I just love this. And I encourage anyone who's taking any of our products to please let us hear your story. Great question. How many do you take? In the two basic mushrooms, which are our Enforce and our Enforce Plus, we recommend, this is an either or, 1 per 50 pounds of body weight. That's our suggestion. But if you are dealing with something catastrophic or something serious and the budget allows, triple it if you can. We're very conscious of what people can afford, but we also know what works. I took 10 a day because I was scared and I really wanted to slap my immune system into submission, and obviously I did. For the kiddos, 1 gummy a day. Okay, the parents can take them too. You know, we have a lot of grandparents. They call it the granny pack, where they get the cookies and they get the gummies and they give it to their grandkids. And they say every day you can have one of grandma's cookies or one of grandma's gummies. And, you know, this kind of goes back to the Flintstone vitamin days. What got our kids to take vitamins was the Flintstone vitamins, because they were fun to take. But we're trying to do the same thing. Let's get their immune system the support they need and do it in a fun way that the kids will like. We have a great story of a little kid. He was 3 and had a snotty, runny nose. And the poor little guy woke up every morning with a crust all around his little nose. They had to put warm compresses on to peel everything off his little nose. They had taken him everywhere. He had been through every test they could go through. And the next step for a 3-year-old was going to be steroids. And the grandmother was livid. And she had the little boy one night sleep over at Grandma and Grandpa's, and she opened up one of the Coriol's Versicola products, and she put it in his little warm milk smoothie before he went to bed. This one, she didn't tell her daughter. The next morning, the little boy woke up with no crusty nose, and the grandmother was jumping up and down, but now she was faced, crap, what do I do now? I'm going to have to tell my daughter that I gave her son this thing without asking. And, you know, there's that old saying that sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And apparently they had a little discussion about that. But the daughter was open to it, thank goodness. We're about 2 years in with that little guy. No steroids. He's doing great. He gets his gummy or his cookie every day. Grandma sends it. That's her treat she sends to her little grandchild, and she's so happy. We also have the Restore, the Shield product. This is really great for shielding you against viruses and things like that. It's got this incredible mushroom that we love, the shiitake. But then there's another product that we have called the Restore. Now, remember when I said that when I got done with all of my tests, they found a spot on my liver, and they said, we'll wait 3 months. Well, I'm sorry. I'm proactive. I'm not reactive. And I knew that we had the maitake mushroom, and I knew that the maitake mushroom has liver and pancreas support. So I immediately started taking this. With the complementary mushrooms, the shiitake, the maitake, and the lion's mane, we only suggest, 2 to 4 a day, depending on the size that you are. I took 4 a day for 3 months, and when I went back in for a test, it was what spot? The spot was gone. Go figure. So our product line, we have one product that is actually a treat, and that is our Mojo. It's a freeze-dried liver treat, great for training, great for just a little reward if you're training a pup. Tiny freeze-dried hand-cut liver with the Coriol's Versicola mushroom on top of it. I have a long-distance runner, a human, who keeps these in his pocket, and he eats them for energy. I have people with chickens who say this has been amazing. We even have a road runner that has been eating these. So it's for dogs and cats especially, but other animals can have it. And so, I'm going to just briefly touch on nutrition, but what I really want to talk about most is why we're here and what we can do to help. Email me at the sheepdogspets@gmail.com. It's on the ticker. And if you have anything that you're dealing with, let's see if we can help. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a veterinarian, but I do have a lot of knowledge of what these mushrooms can do for you and can do for your family. We also have great foods, so nutrition's a big issue. I just saw an article the other day about how they are putting cardboard in food. And if you start really researching the ingredients that are in the food you're feeding the dogs, there are some horrible things in there. There is unclean meat sources, meat byproducts, which is dead, decaying, dying, diseased meat. There are no standards for some of this. 95% of your dog food is made by the three top candy companies in the country. We'll help you through that. There's some great products out there, not necessarily just ours. There are some great foods out there, but we'll certainly help you to pick a food that's within your budget. We also have incredible freeze-dried food products, which freeze-dried's amazing. You order the mushrooms at sheepdogs, DAWGS, pets.com, and they ship out the same day that you order. They ship from Simi Valley, California. We also have a smart ship program, which means that if you order over $49 worth of product and you click on smart ship, it'll come every month. However, and it's free shipping. It's easy to get out of. All you have to do is click, put my smart ship on hold, or cancel it, or edit it. It's not like some of the smart ship programs that take an act of Congress to get out of them. Ours is very easy. It's just to help you provide free shipping on our product. And then we also have our Chill Doggies product, which is great for dogs that are afraid, scared. I've got a lot of groomers that are working with this. If a dog's a little anxious about going to the groomer, or the veterinarian, or traveling, or they don't like fireworks, or maybe they're just overly aggressive, or they're overly anxious, or separation issues. This is all natural herbs and the lion's mane mushroom. This is one of my favorite products because it helps so much. People will call me and say, my dog's like a different dog. So, I know I'm long-winded, but I'm passionate about what we're doing. I'm passionate about the product, passionate about helping the sheepdogs and this mission that they're on. We also have an affiliate program. So if anybody would like to join us and be a voice and work with Kim and I, we're looking for 1 million voices. We want to scream this from the rooftops. But there's also a little financial reward that can help you supplement what you're feeding your animals or yourselves. And we're just excited about being here. I applaud you, Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog, for taking on this journey, and we are here to help. We're going to be doing some fun things to talk about animals, and I mean, gosh, they just lighten up our life, right? And we want to be here a couple times a month to help out with what you guys are doing and give you guys our support. I'm going to turn it back over. Kim, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, I'm wondering about people that were ordering from Mike's website. They can still continue to order from there, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, this is a joint venture. I mean, we're all trying to help each other. So yes, they can. And a lot of people that are on.
Diana, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you skipped across the dog food thing. I make 50% of the dog food and I supplement with a kibble. And it took me a long time to cave to that. Lou made me do that just because of cost and overhead. Because I actually make dog food. It's like whatever I've got with a core of rice, beans, and whatever else. But there's a test, and I had never heard of this until you talked about this. If you have some kibble, you drop it in the water to see how much it expands, because that's the same thing that. Will you talk about that for a second?
Oh, I love that you brought that up. Yeah. So, we all want to feed our animals the right food. I love when people tell me they're making the food, and I've got some great recipes I could share with you. And that is truly optimum. But is it realistic? Can everybody do it? No. So a lot of us do resort to kibble. If you take your kibble and you drop it in a glass of water and let it sit for a couple of hours, if it just sits there and does nothing, sometimes even drops to the bottom, but it doesn't expand, then there's not a lot of fillers in it. If it starts to expand and grow, then it's got a lot of fillers, like the cardboard. And what it's doing is, when you are a dog and you eat your food and then you go chug water to rehydrate, all of that is going to just start blowing up in their little bellies, which is going to cause problems. So yes, you really want to make sure that the food that you're feeding is not laced with fillers. And why do they do that? The pet food industry is a very competitive, cutthroat, complicated industry where they're vying for shelf space. They're vying for profit margin. And these big box stores, it is constant. What can we do to make the food less expensive, have a higher profit manage, and get people to buy it? And a lot of times, like Gandalf, we look at the package and we think, oh, that's really pretty. It has vegetables coming down from the sky. It must be good for my dog. But then when you read the ingredients and really read them, whoa, there's a great documentary called Pet Food, F-O-O-L-D, Pet Food.
ED.
ED, and another one called The 13 Worst Pet Foods. It will blow your mind when you watch it. The number one veterinarian recommended food is the number one recalled food. Think about that. The number two recalled food is the number one selling food in the nation. So Gandalf, thank you for bringing that up, because, we want to feed our babies, the best of the best. And that's what it's all about. And honestly, making your own food is not that hard. But again, some people just, don't want to do that. And I get that. That's why a good quality kibble can be good. I feed my pup mostly my pup gets the Coriolis for Sequoia. The Sequoia brand. It's chicken and sweet potato, but I supplement his with the freeze dried, because freeze dried food has, just like for people, it retains 200% more of the nutrients. Plus, we've added antler powder for mineral support, and we've added the Coriolis versicolor, so it's a trifecta. Our kibble also has prebiotics and probiotics in it, and taurine, and those things are a little bit expensive to add. But also look at the feeding schedule. Our food, this bag is 12 pounds. This bag is 12 pounds. And, but the feeding is that of almost 15 pounds. So you've got to look at the feeding schedule. This is more condensed. It's more dense. So you feed less, which means less poop. Less poop. We all like that, right? So, yeah. Yeah. So Kim, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, another thing, maybe when you go to the website, at the top, if you're just looking for human stuff, you would click the human at the top. It's got cat, dog, horse, and human at the top. And dog, you would need to click on that, so it brings up all of the products. Otherwise, you're not going to see all of the dog products. And we do have dog food on there, and canned food, kibble, and the freeze dried.
Yes, for dogs that have chicken allergies. And isn't that sad? How many dogs have allergies these days? Oh my gosh. We do have a turkey food for that. And then our cat food is amazing. But Kim, you brought that little ticker up at the top. There's also pack buying. For someone who is buying a lot, we have alpha packs that give you a tremendous amount of free products. So for people who maybe they're dealing with something catastrophic and they're taking 10 a day of these, they can buy in a larger quantity. It's a bulk buying program. The way that we work that is that we have, as a company, we have found a way to lessen the commissions for everybody involved and give a pack discount for those that have to buy in large quantities.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's good. Well, we thank you. Kim, anything else you want to add?
I can't think of anything.
That's awesome. Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog, Gandalf, Bird Love, we're just so proud to be here. So, that's the website. And if you just click on the product and put it in your cart, so many great things. We didn't touch on everything tonight, but I'm certainly here to help. If you just go to sheepdogpets@gmail and ask any question that you have, I promise I will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, depending on how many thousands of emails I have to answer. But I enjoy answering them. It's a lot of fun. I've gotten to know a lot of you and enjoy all of you. And your passion for your health and your passion for your pets. It's amazing.
Yes.
I have another question. Can I ask another question?
Well, of course you can.
Well, I'm on Sheepdog Show. I traditionally get kicked off of every fifth show. That's not my own. So, I don't know. That's probably the right number, 20, 80, 20. So I have two shepherds. You know this, and and I can't keep those hush ponies in stock. The mules just love them, and we were re upping the diet set. We got a load of bad hay, and
Uh-oh.
the mules really helped their getting their weight back on was a lot easier. We flew through those bags that you sent us. So anyway, the shepherds like to eat grass, and our meadows are sort of specifically grown. I don't know if you know this, but equines, mules, and horses can actually smell the sugar content in grass. And so when I walk the shepherds and check fence lines, which I do at least once a day if I'm on target, the shepherds will stop and eat grass, just specific pieces of grass. Is that's good for them? I assume, right? Because
Well,
aren't they naturally seeking minerals like when they chew their paws? I mean, is that the right answer?
okay, yes
What's
and
the
no.
grass eating thing? And if you live in a neighborhood, if you live in a neighborhood where people put Roundup on their grass, don't let your dogs eat that grass. Just saying out
Absolutely.
loud. Watch the grass they eat. But our grass, we don't use any pesticides, so we have clean grass. Is that okay?
Well, there's three different questions there. So let's start with the grass. Yes, our animals, when they were out in the wild before we domesticated them, they knew what they needed, and they would forage for what they needed, whether it was grass, whether it was dirt, rocks, bark, tree bark, carcasses, and that's how they got a balanced diet. Now that we've domesticated them and they depend on us, they still have an instinct that says something's going on. Maybe I need to throw up. Let me eat a little grass. It might make me throw up. Or let me eat a little grass. It might help with my refuge situation. Maybe they're having a little problems going to the bathroom. They're pretty good about that. But you touched on something really important. You want to make sure that it's in a place that you know and trust. There are so many different places out there that have so many bad chemicals on their grass that you don't want them to eat. You also mentioned that you go through a ton of the mush ponies. These small bags are really meant for, let's just try the product for the first couple of weeks for your horses or for dogs, because 1/2 of one a day will give you a 2-month supply. We also have Mustang packs, Stallion packs. We have huge packs that you can purchase for larger consumption. Um, and then you said the licking of the paws. This is a loaded question. If you have a dog that's licking their paws all the time, one of two things is going on. One, they're pulling the minerals that they got off of the ground into their body because they need minerals. Something's going on. They're lacking minerals in the diet. So you want to supplement them with either letting them chew on antlers. Antlers are amazing, filled with beautiful marrow, but be careful of buying these in the box store because many of those big box stores import them. They dye them, they bleach them, they paint them to make them look better. So make sure you're getting a grade A or B antler. They're pricey, but they give the dog so many minerals. If you don't want to give them the antlers, we have a product called Bucky Bites. This is great for mineral support, heart support, kidney support, joints, skin, coat, organ support. If you have a dog on a lot of medications, this is going to be good. But if you've got a dog that's licking all the time, smell their feet. If they smell like Fritos, it's a yeast infection. And I'm going to tell you, this happens all the time. This is a really funny story. I was on a podcast and I was telling someone, smell your dog's feet. And I guess this couple had been arguing because every night when they got in bed, the wife was accusing the husband of eating corn chips in bed. And he said, I'm not bringing corn chips to bed. And she's like, I know you're sneaking Fritos. And their dog slept with them. Well, they were watching the podcast. They looked at each other. They ran to the dog. They smelled his feet. And yes, it was Fritos. So they contacted me and said, what do we do? There's a great little formula of what you can soak their feet in. You can Google it. And it has apple cider vinegar in the formula. So they were soaking the dog's feet. And then I got a letter from them, about a week later. And they said, our dog has quit licking his paws, but now my wife is accusing me of eating salad in bed. Yeah, it was really funny, but that's a big problem. So yeah, you're right, sheepdog. Watch what grass they eat, but a little bit of grass is not going to hurt them. I mean, Gandalf, sorry.
Yep.
I heard it's okay to eat salad in bed on the ranch.
Oh, I guess so. or salad in bed with ranch dressing. Yeah. Oh, any other questions out there? Anybody else have anything that they would like to ask? I love watching the chat and watching how much support you guys are all getting for this new platform. It's very exciting to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for being here. Yeah, we're slowly starting to put everything together, and we want to thank Gandalf and the team here for allowing us a landing spot to transition. So as everybody gets to the channel, please click subscribe, share. Also, if you can't afford to purchase anything, you can also share on your Facebook page, sheepdogspets.com. That would be greatly appreciated. The more eyes to see it, the better. We would be greatly appreciated. If you're purchasing from Mike, I would ask that you continue to do so. I'm not trying to take from Mike and his family at all whatsoever. But if you would also like to support the War Room moving forward, we would greatly appreciate it at the sheepdogspets.com. I'm going to check out the coffee. I didn't know y'all had coffee.
Yeah.
And I think at the Antlers, I think one of my dogs needs to. Yeah, he's mineral deficient. He likes chewing on the rocks.
Yeah.
And you know what can happen is they can end up swallowing those rocks, and then it ends up in their intestines, and now you got a whole nother problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to keep running over there and tapping him like, hey, what are you doing? But thank you for coming on. I have all the links for the provided on the show tonight on Rumble, on YouTube, in the descriptions below. They'll be there forever. Again, please share out. Please don't forget to subscribe. And let the rest of the tribe know the new channels that have been created to keep the show going. And we want to thank the Pet Ladies for coming on tonight with me for our second show. And continuing to be a support not only for the show but also for the people. The presentations are amazing. It's your personalities and your passion for the pets shows and your energy.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to reach out if you have any question. Sheepdogspets@gmail.com. Sheepdogspets@gmail.com, and we'll get right back with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So today, when they come on, we'd like to just take a day with the pets, and we've already done the dogs and the spiritual meaning behind our dogs, and we've done horses. Tonight we're going to get into cats.
Yay.
So we're going to do a little video on some cats, and then before we close out, we're going to get into a little bit of the news towards the end, just some things that people need to know as far as the direction of where the movie's heading, and as far it's like a big reality TV show to me, like Jerry Springer. So that's just how I look at it. But let me get into the cats. So your cat, got a lot of cat lovers out there. Can't forget the cats. So your cat chose you for a reason. This is the same thing from Casey Unveiled the Hidden Truth. I'm going to play a little bit of this.
Edgar Casey.
Edgar Casey, yeah. Here we go.
Have you ever stopped to wonder why cats awaken such a peculiar sensation in us? Why do some people feel instantly connected to them, while others experience a mix of fascination and unease? The answer lies buried in thousands of years of history, where these felines weren't just pets, but sacred creatures with powers that defied human understanding. In ancient Egypt, killing a cat was a crime punishable by death. This wasn't just an eccentric law of an ancient civilization, it was the recognition of something much deeper. The Egyptians knew that cats were living portals between the physical and spiritual worlds. They didn't worship cats by chance. They understood that these animals possessed abilities we modern humans are only beginning to rediscover. The goddess Bastet, with the head of a cat, wasn't a fanciful invention. She represented protection, intuition, and the ability to see beyond the veil that separates dimensions. Egyptian priests observed the cats in the temples and noticed something extraordinary. These animals reacted to invisible presences, stared intently at empty corners, and behaved as if they were interacting with beings humans couldn't perceive. When a cat died in ancient Egypt, the entire family would shave their eyebrows in mourning. The felines were mummified with the same care given to pharaohs, because the Egyptians believed they would continue their spiritual mission in the afterlife. Archaeological excavations have revealed entire cemeteries dedicated exclusively to cats, with thousands of feline mummies buried with amulets and offerings. But this reverence wasn't limited to Egypt. The Celts also recognized special powers in cats. They believed these animals were guardians of ancestral secrets and could freely traverse between the world of the living and the dead. During the Samhain festival, what we now know as Halloween, the Celts said, cats became messengers between dimensions, carrying information from the beyond to humans who knew how to interpret their signs. In Norse mythology, the goddess Freya had a chariot pulled by two giant cats. These felines weren't just means of transportation. They were symbols of independence, mystery, and connection with hidden forces. The Vikings, known for their practicality, wouldn't have chosen cats to represent a goddess if they didn't recognize truly extraordinary qualities in them. What all these ancient civilizations understood, and what we've lost over the centuries, is that cats operate on different energetic frequencies than we do. Perceive magnetic fields, detect subtle changes in the atmosphere, and respond to energies our physical senses can't pick up. This isn't superstition. It's a real capability that modern science is just beginning to validate. During the Middle Ages, this ancestral wisdom was distorted and turned into fear. Cats became associated with witchcraft not because they were evil, but because their spiritual sensitivity made them natural companions for those who worked with subtle energies. The persecution of cats during this period wasn't just an animal tragedy. It was a systematic attempt to cut humanity off from one of its oldest connections to the spiritual world. Today, when a cat appears in your life, it carries with it this entire mystical heritage. It's not just looking for food or shelter, it's responding to something in your energy, something that resonates with thousands of years of connection between felines and humans. This choice isn't random. It's the result of an energetic evaluation far beyond our conscious understanding. The truth is that cats never lost these ancestral abilities. We're the ones who forgot how to recognize and honor them. When we understand the historical depth of this connection, we begin to realize that having a cat isn't just having a petite, being chosen by a spiritual guardian with a lineage that dates back to the most mystical civilizations of humanity. There was a man capable of entering a trance and accessing information he didn't even understand when awake. Edgar Cayce wasn't just an ordinary seer, he was a direct channel for knowledge that transformed our understanding of the connection between humans and animals. His revelations about cats specifically forever changed the way we see these mysterious felines. Born in 1877 on a small farm in Kentucky, Cayce discovered his psychic abilities as a child. He could fall asleep on books and absorb all their content through what he called photographic reading. But at 21, his true mission was revealed. During a deep trance state, he began channeling precise medical information for people he had never met. What made Casey unique wasn't just his diagnostic ability, but the spiritual depth of his readings. He didn't see illnesses as mere physical problems. He saw the energetic, karmic, and spiritual causes behind each condition. And it was through this expanded vision that he began to receive extraordinary information about the animal kingdom, especially about cats. For over 40 years, Casey conducted more than 14,000 documented psychic readings. In hundreds of them, information about cats emerged spontaneously, even when the consultation had nothing to do with animals. This caught researchers' attention because it seemed the universe was using Casey as a channel to transmit specific truths about these felines. One of Casey's most impactful revelations was about cats' ability to absorb negative energies. During a reading for a woman suffering from chronic depression, he said, "The feline presence in the home is serving as an energy filter, transmuting dense vibrations into neutral energy. The creature isn't just sharing the space, it's fulfilling a purification mission agreed upon before incarnation." Casey explained that cats possess what he called an expanded etheric body, an aura naturally larger than most animals, functioning as an energy protection network. He revealed that when a cat approaches a person, it first scans that person's energy field, assessing not only their current emotional state, but also their past lives, karmic contracts, and spiritual mission. In another memorable reading, Casey was asked why some cats seem to choose certain people. His answer was revolutionary. Feline souls operate under specific spiritual contracts. They incarnate with the mission of serving as bridges between dimensions for certain human souls. The recognition is instant because it already existed in multiple previous incarnations. What was most impressive about Casey's readings was the technical precision of his descriptions. He spoke about vibrational frequencies, magnetic fields, and subtle energy decades before these concepts became known in quantum physics. When describing how cats read human energy, he used terms that only make complete sense today with our current understanding of bioenergy. Casey also revealed that cats have the unique ability to anchor spiritual energy in the physical plane. He explained that when a cat purrs near a person, it's not just showing contentment, it's creating a specific frequency that facilitates communication between human consciousness and higher dimensions. This frequency, according to Casey, operates between 20 and 50 hertz, exactly the range that promotes bone healing and reduces stress in the human body. One of Casey's most remarkable predictions was about the future of the relationship between humans and cats. He said a time would come when humanity would rediscover the true spiritual nature of felines, and that this would happen as people began awakening to their own multidimensional nature. Observing the current rise in interest in spirituality and the exponential increase in cat owners, it seems this prediction is coming true. Have you ever felt like your cat knows exactly how you're feeling, even before you realize it yourself? That intuition isn't imagination. It's the result of an extraordinary ability that cats possess and that science is beginning to validate. They literally read your energy on levels that challenge our traditional understanding of animal perception. Cats operate with a sensory system far beyond the 5 conventional senses. They possess what we could call an energy radar, an ability to detect electromagnetic fields, changes in atmospheric pressure, and even subtle shifts in the chemical composition of the air that our body releases in different emotional states. When you're anxious, your body produces specific hormones that alter your natural scent. A cat detects these chemical changes even before you consciously realize you're worried, but that's just the surface layer of their perception. They also sense fluctuations in your bioelectric field, yes. You have a natural electrical field generated by your heart and brain activity. Recent research in biophysics shows that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends up to 3 meters around the body. This field changes constantly based on our emotions and mental state. Cats, with their highly sensitive whiskers and refined nervous system, can detect these energy variations with impressive precision. Observe your cat when you're going through a tough time. It likely comes closer, purrs more often, or simply stays nearby without being intrusive. This isn't a coincidence, it's responding to the changes in your energy field and offering what Edgar Cayce called vibrational support. A cat's purr isn't just a sound. It's a therapeutic tool operating at specific frequencies, known to promote healing and well-being. The connection goes even deeper. Cats have a proportionally larger pineal gland than most animals. This gland, often called the third eye, is responsible for perceiving subtle energies and connecting with non-physical dimensions. Through this expanded capacity, they can scan not only your current state, but also deeper aspects of your soul. When a cat looks directly into your eyes, it's not just establishing physical eye contact. It's creating an energetic bridge that allows an exchange of information on very deep levels. Many people report feelings of calm, mental clarity, or even spiritual insights during these moments of intense visual connection with cats. There's also the phenomenon of energy synchronization. Cats have the natural ability to harmonize their frequency with yours, functioning like a kind of living tuning fork. When you're energetically imbalanced, the cat's presence gradually helps reestablish your internal harmony. This explains why many people naturally feel calmer and more centered in the presence of cats. Feline sensitivity to human energies is so refined that they can detect changes in your energy state even before they manifest physically. Many owners report that their cats started acting differently days before receiving important news, going through a significant change, or even before becoming ill. This ability to pre-sense events is related to what quantum physics calls non-locality, the idea that information can be transmitted instantly through energy connections that transcend space and time. Cats, operating at higher levels of consciousness, can access information that hasn't yet manifested on the physical plane. A cat's fur color also influences its type of energy perception. Black cats, for example, are particularly sensitive to dense energies and have a natural ability to transmute them. White cats work better with healing and purification energies. Tabby cats serve as energy balancers, while multicolored cats function as translators between different types of energy. What makes this connection even more fascinating is that it's bilateral. Just as they feel your energy, you can also learn to perceive theirs. Many owners develop a keen intuition about their cat's emotional and physical states, sometimes knowing when something is wrong even before physical signs appear. When we understand that cats literally sense our soul, we begin to understand why certain people are naturally drawn to them and others are not. It's not just a matter of personal preference, it's a matter of energetic compatibility and openness to forms of communication that transcend the physical world. Speaking of energy and vibrational frequencies, there's something powerful I want to share with you. If you're feeling this deep connection with the energetic world we're exploring here, imagine what could happen if you could consciously raise your own vibration and start attracting even more extraordinary experiences into your life. If you want to master this connection with the universe and learn to manifest your reality consciously, I invite you to the Quantum Thinking Challenge, a 21-day schedule where you'll reprogram your mind, raise your vibration, and unlock your full energetic potential. For 3 weeks, you'll have daily practices to transform your frequency and start attracting everything you desire. The access link is in the first pinned comment, don't miss it. Edgar Cayce discovered that cats aren't just sensitive pets, they're literally living energy shields, psychic protectors operating in dimensions most people can't even imagine exist. What he revealed through his psychic readings will make you look at your cat in a completely new way. During one of Cayce's most extraordinary readings, he was consulted by a woman suffering from unexplained panic attacks every time she arrived home. Doctors couldn't find any physical causes, and therapists couldn't identify specific traumas. That's when Casey in trance revealed something surprising. The residence carries energetic imprints from traumatic past events. The feline soul present in the home is serving as a transmuter of these dense energies, but the overload is affecting both the creature and the human resident. Casey explained that the apartment had been the scene of very traumatic events decades earlier, and these experiences had become energetically imprinted in the environment. The woman's cat was literally absorbing and transmuting these negative energies, protecting her from something much worse, but the process was exhausting for both of them. The solution Casey offered was revolutionary. He recommended specific energy clearing techniques that would work in partnership with the cat, distributing the transmutation load and strengthening the feline's natural protection. The result was immediate. Both the woman and the cat experienced a dramatic improvement in their well-being. This wasn't an isolated case. Through hundreds of readings, Casey identified consistent patterns in how cats operate as psychic protectors. He discovered they have a natural ability to create what he called energy bubbles, invisible protective fields that filter negative energies before they reach their human caretakers. The process works in a fascinating way. When dense or negative energy approaches you, your cat detects it first through its expanded sensitivity. It then positions its own energy field between you and that energy, acting as a kind of living filter. The negative energy is absorbed by the cat, processed through its unique energetic system, and transmuted into neutral energy, released back into the environment. Casey revealed that cats do this instinctively, but the process's efficiency increases dramatically when there is a strong emotional connection between the cat and the human. That's why cats choose their people. They identify souls with whom they can establish deep energetic bonds, allowing for more effective protection. One of Casey's most touching readings involved a child who suffered from constant nightmares. He revealed that the child was being affected by astral impressions, energies from people who had passed through the house and left emotional imprints on the environment. The family's cat had naturally positioned itself as the child's guardian, but needed additional energetic support. Casey advised the parents to create a partnership ritual with the cat. Every night before sleep, they should thank the feline for its protection and visualize a golden light enveloping both the child and the cat. The result was extraordinary. The nightmares completely stopped in less than a week. The psychic protection offered by cats isn't limited to the home environment. Casey revealed that cats can create energetic cords with their caretakers, offering protection even at a distance. Many people report feeling the comforting presence of their cats even when far from home, especially during moments of stress or danger. One of Casey's last great revelations about protective cats was about the energy cleansing process they perform on their people. He explained that cats often lick or rub against their humans not just for affection, but to literally clean unwanted energies that may have attached to the person's auric field during the day. There's a magical moment that most people don't notice. The exact instant when a cat decides that you are their person. It's not when you adopt them. It's not when they arrive at your home. It's a much earlier moment, when they perform what we can call a complete energetic scan and determine that you're compatible on levels far beyond the physical. This scanning process is extremely sophisticated. The cat isn't just assessing whether you'll feed it or provide shelter, it's reading your complete energetic signature.
The cat scanning you to find out if you're going to feed it. So we wanted to bring a little bit about the cats. It's a little bit longer video. We'll share it out.
Cats are
Let me go
interdimensional beings and hosts for good energy. Cats are not of this world.
I love that. I love what you just found. That, yes, I'm a cat girl. I always had cats, and I know they're special.
Thank you for validating my chin hat theory. Thank you.
Yes, they're amazing.
Yeah. I've only had probably one cat before. Never. I've always grew up with dogs.
When my
I don't know if there's.
when my husband moved in with me, he was not a cat person, and I had 2 cats at the time. And literally, he became the biggest cat lover and said, I had no idea just how amazing cats are. You know, you have to live with them to really understand how incredible they are. They really are. I never saw that video before, and I'm excited to be able to share it with some people. It's pretty amazing.
When I was in college, I had a cat that was a feral cat that decided that I was his human. And he had 3 legs, so of course we called him Tripod.
Of course.
And I allegedly I might have smoked a bunch of weed with this cat, which is when I started forming my hypothesis that cats are interdimensional beings. So, and this cat was really a dog. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that brings more clarity.
So, grass is good.
Cats are great.
I think I
It
said
brings
that
a lot
during
more.
the cat. I think I said grass is good during the cat story, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, and you know, cats really, it is really true. Dogs have masters and cats have staff. It really is true. And they rule the roost. And they make their own decisions. They're very, very difficult to convince a cat to do anything that a cat doesn't want to do.
Much like a chihuahua.
Yeah, that's good.
So I just wanted to show the Rumble link real quick to the Roar Room. We also have in the description everything provided, all the links, including the sheepdogspets.com. We also have the Roar Room music provided by Glenda Turner at youtube.com at Glenda Turner 369. Same thing in the description on YouTube. If you need any of the links, they are in the description. And here's Glenda's YouTube. Please go subscribe to her channel with all the music. Let's see. Where are we at? So another little note here from Vision for the Blind. How many times do people have to hear about how AI will be taken over in the immediate future before people wake up and realize that this is happening right now before their very eyes? Time is running out. That's just the reality of the situation. And quite frankly, your average person doesn't even seem to be concerned, but they will, though. Trust me, they will. But by then it'd be too late. Right, well, that's just about with anything we're dealing with today.
Yeah, they've been
So
doing
for the
that.
record, if you are petting your dog or your cat with 2 hands, you cannot hold your phone, which means that AI cannot screw with you. So pet an animal.
That's true. That's true.
Well, nothing gets by you, does it, Gandalf?
Not if it has a beer in its hand.
So that or eats grass.
Right.
You can lead a dog to a water, but you can't make him drink. You can show a person the truth, but you can't make them think.
So true.
My dad used
so-
to find thirsty dogs.
Right? Where we got? What do we got next here? Let's see. We go through.
Worst at that time. Now, put on your tinfoil hats. 5 years ago, I stopped watching TV. You know when and why. I felt really brainwashed at that time. Now I still have cable TV. They somehow forgot to shut it down. And whenever I accidentally switch on a TV channel, it's like an instant wave of disgust rolling over me. Now, back in the 70s, 80s, they made funny experiments. You know, the human eye recognizes 24 pictures per second as a flawless movement. That's why most movies are shot in 24 frames. And scientists said, if we only need 24, but our TVs have a refresh rate of 50 to 60 frames, what can we do with the unnecessary frames? And they replaced some of the frames with different pictures, text, information. And they found out the human eye doesn't notice it at all, but the human brain recognizes it. Now put down your tinfoil hat and think. Nowadays, TVs have a refresh rate of 100, 200, 300 frames per second. Can you imagine how much additional information you can put into that without you even noticing? And as I said, whenever there's something technically feasible, there's always somebody who does exactly that. Just some food for thought.
That's how they brainwash you subconsciously, right? Like in the movie They Live, where you had to put on the glasses to see
Yeah.
the programming. But like you said, 25 frames per second, they add another 25 plus in there.
So what's the commonality here, right?
And
It's about frequency. What's the difference between 40 hertz and 60 hertz? The frequency of wave engagement, right? So the difference between 24 frames per second and 300 frames per second is frequency. When you are petting your dog and they make a mewling sound, do you think that the only frequency that is engaging with you is the frequency you're hearing? No, look, the biofield of an equine is 5 times the size of a human. I think the Chihuahua is probably 30 times bigger. So what frequency are you engaging with? That's not just about sitting in front of your TV, right? It's about seeking out a better frequency engagement, which involves healthy pets.
There you go. Thank you for the input. Oh, here's some of the news today. We had the federal judge protecting prolific pedophiles. You know, the justice is dead. So this is the federal judge Richmond Berman. He rejects the DOJ's request because they were trying to unseal the Epstein grand jury transcripts in Manhattan.
Of course.
So he looks like look at his nose. Looks kind of familiar there.
Yeah.
There's something about these kind of noses. I don't know what it is. Here's all the can someone explain how this took place? Licensing liberty. No state shall convert a liberty into a license and charge a fee therefore. Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, 319 U.S. 105. If the state converts a right of liberty into a privilege, the citizen can ignore the license and fee and engage in the right or liberty with impunity. Shuttlesworth versus City of Birmingham, Alabama, 373, US 262. So that became this: fishing license, hunting license, driver's license, drone license, barber's license, tattoo license, massage license, travel agent license, contractor license, marriage license, camping permit, construction permit, solar panel permit, livestock permit, street vendor permit, concealed carry permit, burn permit, protest permit, photography permit, vehicle registration fees, boat registration fees, bike registration fees, building permit fees, parking meter fees, toll road fees, land use fees, firearm license fee, park entry fee, and liquor license fee.
So that's a lot of fees. A lot of permits.
And this is where it's because of the knowledge, the lack of knowledge, that the people have enslaved themselves or
That's it.
have ended up in enslavement.
That's it.
But that's how far we came. So I thought that was interesting. Of course, because I screenshotted it. This was another interesting video right here. This goes back to, but it's not just about Nixon calling the moon back in 1969.
Neil and Buzz.
But it's about what he said, which when we're talking about flat earth stuff and the firmament, Nixon's going to mention that the seas above here shortly in this recording. So I want to play that real quick.
Neil and Buzz.
But please bring back the mind-blowing 1969 technology and the phone reception.
The President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over. That would be an honor. Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you do. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure they too join with America in recognizing what an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. And as you talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility,
Right here, as you talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility. Right, waters above.
talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility, it inspired us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to Earth. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride in what you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to Earth.
But also, how do they have the picture of the moon on the wall if it just landed on the moon to take that picture?
Right?
Huh?
Right.
How'd the picture get there before, if they're on the moon right now taking the picture? Gandalf, do you know why the pictures? Was they email it to them, or was it they have internet then? Think they digitally send them the picture?
Peace of all nations.
I don't know. I think Gan stepped away to do some chores, but I don't know who took that picture. That's interesting.
The heavens have become a part of man's world. And as you talk
a picture of Earth from the moon while they're doing the.
Right.
That's impossible.
Right.
So this is how they mock us. I guess it's the never straight answer, NASA. The age of deception. That's why most Christians are asleep right now. They don't realize that they're thinking we're going into 1,000 years of peace. That's already passed. We're in the age of deception. And this is one of the biggest deceptions out there, other than the presidential elections.
There's a lot more we could add to all that.
So I just wanted to show this. This was in 1969. They're talking about the phone technology, but it's let's see where we're going. That is it for tonight. On this, we're going to be back. Wait, hold on. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow with. What are we going to be talking about tomorrow? Oh, we got El Chapo's wife returns to court wearing the Star of David necklace. That's pretty interesting, ain't it?
Oh, yeah.
What does Israel and Mexico Chapo got to do with trafficking, right? Human trafficking, drug trafficking.
Yeah. All we know.
El Chapo's wife was Jewish?
I didn't know that. Apparently so.
Oh, here it is. Of course, we've been talking about this on this show for a while. But you ever notice how they love using the color scheme of red versus blue? Republican versus Democrat, Bloods versus Crips, Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. The list goes on and on.
The divine feminine, divine masculine.
Yeah, they're showing you. Intelligent dialect, where both options are being controlled by the same puppet master. So I said you got to come out of left versus right, the Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. Tomorrow we're going to go over some banking stuff, large banks. We got tomorrow.
And some of the natural law. We got some new books on that too. The Great Law of Peace.
Yeah.
I like that one.
So I was talking with Mike's wife, Amanda, and she says, man, he sure had a lot of women calling him. I said, yeah, I said, it's the matriarch. I said, it's the women have spiritually been woken up to stand up for the children. Just the part of it's in their DNA. It's just part of their sacred duty. So we laughed about that a little bit. I said, but there's some men out there. I said, but for the most part, it's women. But the elders.
It was their turn.
Yeah.
It's the flip.
It's the bride coming down.
Yeah.
So the elders say that the Native American women will lead the healing among the tribes. So we need to especially pray for our women and ask the Creator to bless them and give them strength. Inside them are the powers of love and strength given by the moon and the earth, which is the 88, 8 and 8, sun and the moon, silver and gold. When everyone gives up, it is the woman who sings the songs of strength. She is the backbone of the people. So to our women, we say, sing your songs of strength, pray for your special powers, and keep our people strong. Be respectful, gentle, and modest. Oh, great one, bless our women. Make them strong today. Love you.
So the strength
Love
of
you,
the strength of the Native community is built on natural law. Natural law. And in the natural law build, the household is sacrosanct. The reason the warrior is strong is because of the support he has at home. You know, the warrior's greatest weakness is fear for his children. This is every Tom Clancy plot that doesn't involve a submarine. So, you know, the natural law is really what we have to get back to here. And Mike and I used to talk about this quite a bit, that we have to unravel what's been happening. The Masonic engagement is part of that. I dropped 2 links in the private chat. One of them is an AI thing that I did that recaps the document that's available in PDF, and the link right on top of it. You can throw those somewhere for me, Chicago. Because the Masonic thing is really an unraveling event. The continuance of getting people out of the matrix, you have to convince them there is a matrix, and the Mason progeny below the Templar build, which is the baseline for Masonry, that's all in those 2 sets. And I would love to do a show about that at some point.
Yeah, that sounds good. Especially natural law. That comes into play. So we got a beautiful Cherokee word guide written out, flowing text. This is Cherokee language used in this song, because we're going to play a little song closing out that Glenda provided, called "The True Train." So Glenda, I'm going to read this for her. She sent this to me. Oseo means hello or welcome. Oseo. Hello or welcome. It's more than a greeting. It's an invitation to open hearts and doors, a warm embrace of connection. Here's one, Wadu.
Yeah, I remember Wadu.
Y'all know Wadu. Wadu means thank you. It's a word of gratitude, humility, and deep respect, spoken with great heart and honor.
Gadugi. Gadugi. Did you read that one?
Yeah, Gadugi.
Yeah.
So Gadugi means working together in a community. It's a sacred principle of mutual support, unity, and shared purpose, perfectly aligned with your tribe's heartbeat. Gogeo means Gogeo means I love you. It's a powerful declaration of deep, enduring love spoken with reverence and soul. Those are different words. I know Osiris spoke of what was the other one? Wadudu?
Wadudu, yeah.
Wadudu. Seven rules of life. Make peace with your past so it won't disturb your present. And what other people think of you is none of your business. That's a good one.
Yeah, because you can't. You
heard that one? What other people think of you is none of your damn business.
Just carry on.
You should write that on as right there by your mirror when you look in it.
Yeah.
In the morning. Time heals almost everything. Give it time. No one is in charge of your happiness except you. Don't compare your life to others and don't judge them. You have no idea what their journey is all about. Stop thinking too much. It's all right not to know the answers. And don't forget to smile. You don't own all the problems in the world.
That's right. We weren't meant to carry the problems of this world.
I think Christ said he has a light package if you want to make a swap. Wasn't that right?
Doctor, please don't confuse your Google search with my medical degree. That's what your doctor says.
Right.
Please don't confuse your Google search with my medical degree. Me. Please don't confuse your God complex and financial incentives from Big Pharma with my ability to independently research the side effects of your medications with the most powerful information tool in the history of mankind. It sounds like
Hey, Sheepdog, I have someone very close to me that is in the high-end medical practice management universe, and she has every 3 or 4 months she's speaking to 1,000 doctors, guys that are practicing every day. And I talked to her on the phone the other day, and she said, "Oh yeah, the doctors, they're pissed off that people are asking questions." like, how dare you question? How dare you question me? Just pay
How dare you question? Don't you question my authority?
My authority.
Well, I think I saw that same that woman post that a lot of these people are asking what is the root cause and what are alternatives to medications. And these doctors are furious over those questions. They've never had to deal with that before.
So look, Diana, that's the article that I was referencing to this. It's a family member of mine. She rarely listens to my show, so I'm not doxing her. But she deals with little itty bitty companies like Health South and Humana, and all those little guys. And she was talking to this massive group of GPs, like 1,200 of them. And she went to questions, and it was exactly the same thing. So when I mentioned the article to her, she was like, "Oh yeah, that happened to me last week in Cincinnati." So the doctors are having to come to the fact that they are the most deeply programmed of us. They're the D for doctor is deeply programmed.
That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. Deeply programmed.
You know who else is deeply programming? Mark Levin. What's funny is I don't know if people are familiar with Mark Levin, but he's Fox News host. I think he does his shows out of the bunker in Israel, and maybe one of Netanyahu's bunkers. But it's funny that he's calling Putin a genocidal maniac, but yet I haven't seen him put out anything on Netanyahu committing genocide in Israel. Palestine, I should say. It's not Israel, but it's Palestine. But it's just crazy. And this is the guy that Trump tells everyone to go watch on Fox News so they can get their damn programming, what to think, what to believe, who to support, et cetera, et cetera. But this is just hypocrisy. It's crazy to sit here and witness this guy with millions of dollars he makes a year to lie to people. This guy right here, he came on the scene right after 9/11 to brainwash the people, because that's when we were occupied. Right after 9/11, Israel came in and took over. It wasn't the Arabs, guys. It wasn't a guy. It wasn't a bunch of Arabs in some tunnels in Afghanistan.
Israel took over in 1913 and 1917 when the Fed was really engaged, and then really established themselves hard when they got a nation in 47, 48, and have been influencing our political system through the AIPAC engagement since 1949 by legislation. Sorry, just giving a date amendment, brother.
No, that's good. Thank you. So I seen this and I giggled and I'm like, this dude here. I didn't even comment. Normally I'd tell him something, but I didn't leave no comment. I'm just not going to comment on their post. To have so many viewers, just only have 500 comments and maybe 250,000, 150,000 views on this is really not that much. But so he's really not reaching a whole lot of people except for the boomers that watch Fox, and then you got the boomers that watch CNN. No disrespect to the boomers, but they still believe that.
USID was paying 9,000 journalists. 9,000 journalists were on the USAID payroll, and they were in every country, in every language, on every major news channel. So it's not shocking that the numbers of engagements are dropping since they can't catch up with the bots. That's my opinion. Gotcha.
Yeah, they're trying like hell to hold on. I watched a little bit of Fox News while I was in North Carolina just to see what the hell they were trying to say. And I know if you know how they do the brainwashing techniques and how they tell you what to think, you'll pick up on it. And it's ever so subtle as they just tell the audience what to think right as soon as they show them something. They don't even give them time to process what they were shown. And then the I think, what was that? Brewer showed that, right? Where Jim Brewer showed that, where a CNN host will play a clip. They'll play the clip. It'll be, controversial. As soon as they get done playing a clip is when the people sitting behind the desk at the news station start brainwashing the people on what to think. That's how it works. And then the people go and repeat the same thing they heard so-and-so say on the CNN or Fox or whatever, and then it becomes a hive mind and everyone starts repeating it. And that's how this works. So that's why it's very important to turn that shit off. Unless you're studying how to brainwash people, then you want to watch it. If you want to study how to brainwash humanity, watch Fox News and CNN. But don't watch it to get informed because you're not being informed.
Fox News is still a Murdoch organization, number one. Number two,
Yep.
Operation Mockingbird started in, wait for it, 1948, same as the Nation of Israel. And I think, who was it, Sheepdog, that came out 2 weeks ago? Was it Marjorie Taylor Greene? And was trying to out Mockingbird as still being a funded operation. Did you see that? I think that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Or heard something about it in passing, maybe on X. Or
You're describing Mockingbird, which is still in play.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, they planned. If most people don't realize that they plan the news out years in advance, a year or so in advance, the news for that year is written.
Just like that video you played.
What's that?
Remember that the guy was telling him that they plan out everything years in advance?
Yeah, they plan out the news years in advance, the moon landings, all the major events. Mm-hmm. That's why it looks so well planned out and scripted and well timed and almost like you're watching a movie, because it is. That's all we got for the night tonight. But I would pull up that video, but my internet's kind of slow on how they create the news well in advance. We'll probably show that later, another time. That's all we got. Been a good show. I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. I want to thank everybody for subscribing and finding the links to our Rumble, YouTube. Thank you for joining the Telegram, Facebook.
Hey, Sheep,
Go ahead.
You want to play that song that you were going to play? You want to rap?
Yeah, Glenda's song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Hey, can I say something before I go to the song? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So a bunch of people in our universe right now are dealing with a bunch of health issues. And I'm a plants is medicine, food is medicine, healing is frequency guy. If you follow this team's content, you know that's true. If look at the Chiron, if you're really struggling with something, this is the craziest thing you can do. I triple dog, see what I did there? Triple dog dare you to go to sheepdogspets.com.
Thank you for that, Gandalf.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Gandalf. There we go.
You're muted,
This is
Diana.
from her.
Oops, sorry about that. Reach
Diana,
out
go ahead.
to sheepdogspets@gmail.com, and we'll help you out with whatever we can help you out with.
Thank you. Here we go.
True Train 88. This ain't no ordinary ride. We roll with legacy, love, and fire in our bones. Let's go. True Train 88. This ain't no ordinary ride. We roll with legacy, love, and fire in our bones. Let's go. Let's go. Boots on the ground, banjo in my hand. True train rolling through this promised land. Chief Mike lit the torch, now sheepdog lead. Matriarch's grace, yeah, that's all we need. Fiddle crying like a spirit in the wind. Bass thumping like the truth setting in. We don't follow trends, we follow the flame. True Train 88, remember the name. True Train 88, rolling through the night, guided by the chief. We're rising to the light. With the matriarch's grace, we stand as one. The power of the sheepdog's love, our rising sun. OCO, we gather, hearts open wide. Gadoogie in motion, love as a guide. GVUE, we sing to the sky. Holy hill is deep, joy never dies. Red cardinal flying, wings in the breeze. Banjo strumming like a prayer on its knees. You carry the promise, you carry the flame. In our rising tribe, we call your name. Wide old matriarch, for your sacred way. Your generosity lights our day. Your grace is the fire in our tribal dream. Your love flows strong in every stream. Stomping trail, healing frequencies rise like steam. True Train 88, this ain't no dream. True Train 88, we ride with the flame. True Train 88, we rise in a name. GVUE, the journey goes on. In the power of love, we are never gone.
Well, that song is nothing but fire right there.
Right.
Just like that.
All her songs.
We roll with legacy, love.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for the great show. We'll catch everybody tomorrow night.
Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night.